In this lesson, you will learn how to work with data access control. Data access control classifies the sensitivity of data records by different categories. Those categories again defines if a user is permitted to view a data record or not. For example, your organization is employing subcontractors who are working together with your internal employees on the same project within ALM Octane, and based on the contracts, the external employees may have access to a specific category of data and are restricted to others. So let's assume we are working on the same ALM Octane project, the internal employees and the external employees, and you are sharing basically the defects with everyone. And there are few cases or categories which are affecting different defects, and these should not be displayed to external employees. So you can define data access control to restrict the access of data for a specific user role. So let's see how this is working in ALM Octane. We need to first go to the spaces configuration. So click on the wheel and administration spaces. On the spaces, go to the shared space, and this feature is only available for shared space configured workspaces. So now on the shared space, go to the permission level, and on the permission, select the role you want to configure data access for, and after selecting the role, you can click here on the item data access and define what kind of data should be accessed by this role which you have selected. So here I can see I have a tester role which has access to public information and external items as a role overall. Yeah. So basically this is valid, this configuration is valid for all the testers across the different projects within my shared space. So let's take a look now whom I can assign those roles. So I will use my test user to demonstrate this feature. And here I can see that the tester role is assigned in the default workspace to that user. So here the data access control defined for the role tester is applied for this user in the default workspace. So now let's go back to the workspace itself and configure the data for defects. So we can go to the defect module, and on the defect module I can select basically a defect, and I can look for the field access granted. If this is not visible, make sure you can make it visible using the configure field button or customize field button. And once you have it, you can define who should be able to see this defect. Yeah. Let me go next, maybe down. Here I can see that this is not filled out, so I can fill out this information. So external item, so external people are also able to view it. If I would select here nothing, or so if this would be empty, it should not be displayed to testers, as well as if I have anything else than external items or public information, then it should not be visible to the tester user role. And this field can be also filled automatically using business rules, which is also a valid use case where you, based on the data the user has entered, you define on different rules what is the access level of this record. So now let's go back. So here I have in total 249 defects in the default workspace. And now I will go to the project where my test user is defined. So let's go here, default workspace, and I can go to the defect module. And in the defect module, now I see only 30 records. So I see those records which are defined for the correct data access for this user role. So I can see it here. So data access granted, it's external item. Yeah. And I can see it's 2012. Let's go back here to 2012. It is external items. And if I would now say I delete it and save it, so this record should not be available anymore for the tester. I can see here, if I go back and refresh, 2012 is gone. It's basically not anymore in the category of data access which my user role is permitted to see. So this is a very easy and simple way how you can define data access control for defect records in order to restrict users to access data based on different security requirements or sensitivity.